What's up, everybody? Phase 4 has wrapped up in the MCU. We just got Black Panther Wakanda Forever last week. I dropped my review for that already. And now we're going to be soon entering Phase 5. But what were my thoughts on Phase 4 of the MCU? I have a lot of thoughts and opinions of Phase 4 as a whole. Was it good, bad, in the middle, mid? All that good stuff, man. We're going to be sitting there talking about Phase 4 of the MCU right now. What's going on, y'all? Let me talk to you. It's your boy K Fish, Questin Fisher of the Fish Flicks, and it's all good all day today. And today we're going to be sitting here talking about all things Marvel Phase 4 of the MCU. We just wrapped it up with Wakanda Forever, and I got a lot of thoughts and opinions on it as a whole, man. And if you all know me, man, the people that know me, you all know I am a big MCU fan, man. I really am. I love all things Marvel. Matter of fact, I'm just a superhero movie genre fan, period. I will probably be one of the biggest defenders of the superhero genre as it stands today. I consider it cinema. I don't care what any of you snobs think out there, but to me, the MCU is cinema. Just because of the way that it made me feel and how it affected me growing up, as the MCU played a big instrumental role into me being where I am today. Because I'm sitting here with you all as a senior in college, graduating next month, December 20th, at that, be on the lookout. And it all started with me with that first Avengers movie. As you can see, all 4 Avengers movies here. These 4 movies right here directly affected me into where I am today. And when I sat there and watched that movie in the theater back in 2012, that was the film that sat there and made me sit there and say, I want to be a film major in college, man. It all started just right there. 2012, the Avengers, man, the OG 5. And today, we've come a long way with the MCU. We definitely have. We're 4 phases in. We got 30 movies? I don't know how many exact movies you can include the Disney Plus shows. And that just shows how much the MCU has grown and evolved over this long period of time, dating way back to 2008. Or was it 09? It was one of the two, you know. I may be off by a year. But you get the point. Started with the first Iron Man movie. And now here we are today. And we're in Phase 4 of the MCU. And guys, think about it. We just wrapped this whole phase up, man. It's over. We're moving forward. We're going on to the next phase, Phase 5, where there's a lot of great stuff coming our way. And we're going to be introduced to a lot as well. And so, you guys, my thoughts on Phase 4. You know, Phase 4, you know, it dealt with a very tough task with this phase, man. They were dealt a very difficult hand with this one. Because you're coming off Infinity War and Endgame, capping off Phase 3. I know the official end of Phase 3 was Spider-Man Far From Home. But, you know, the end of the Infinity Saga, I'll say, was Infinity War and Endgame. Far From Home was more like a epilogue to Phase 3. So coming off that, you know, you're gonna lose a lot of fans of the MCU. Some people, it just naturally happens that they think like, oh, Infinity War, Endgame, it's over. This series of films, this story that this is leading up to, is over now. So what's next, and what's the point of me continuing watching the MCU? And, you know, personally for me, I'm going to be loyal to the MCU always, man. You know, this is why I am here today, you guys. And so I'm going to be here loyal to the MCU at all times. But I can say, with Phase 4, we got a lot of great highlights all throughout this phase with these movies. But there was very few that I can sit there and say that I genuinely loved about Phase 4. Now, there are some. They had some major hits with Phase 4 of the MCU with you guys. And we're going to break it all down here today. And man, my thoughts on Phase 4 as a whole, this was probably easily the weakest phase out of all the phases of the MCU. That's just the way it is, because it's like what's next? What's new and groundbreaking that you're going to do for me now? And you could tell with Marvel, Kevin Feige and the crew, they decided to take on a lot more risks with this phase. A lot more. And especially with the fact that you're introducing a whole streaming service during the start of this phase. And we're introduced to all these new Marvel shows, these Disney Plus shows. And that kind of changed the game. So we're getting a lot more MCU content than we ever have before. Because of streaming, because we're in the world of streaming now. It's all about streaming content. And so with that, Marvel is trying to adapt and grow within their own studio and develop TV series. Now, it was a pretty risky experiment, and I think they get, for the Disney Plus shows alone, they get a thumbs in the middle for me. They get a thumbs in the middle. The reason why I say that is because Marvel was known as a film studio at first. The MCU was a film studio. There was no TV shows like that. Yes, you did have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that has its fan base. Yes, you had, what was that other show? That should tell you a lot because it's very forgettable. I don't even think I watched any single episode of it because I heard it was just so god awful. Oh, that's right, the Inhumans. What's crazy is we were supposed to get an Inhumans movie back during Phase 3 in between Infinity War and Endgame. We were supposed to get Inhumans, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Captain Marvel. But I think somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. I think they dropped off Inhumans and moved it off and filled that spot in with Ant-Man and the Wasp, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. But yeah, Inhumans, that turned into a TV show on ABC, and obviously that didn't turn out too well. And so yeah, with them experimenting with these Disney Plus shows, Marvel, they started off on a great start with this phase. Because we started off with WandaVision. And I think out of all the Disney Plus shows, WandaVision is probably still, out of all of them, the top tier of all the Disney Plus shows. It set the mark for what these Disney Plus Marvel shows could possibly be for the future. And it was set up directly like an actual TV show. We got 8 or 9 episodes of it each week, and we are constantly intrigued each episode as to what's going on with this mystery between Wanda and Vision, man. And it was great to see. I loved the WandaVision era. Especially talking WandaVision on social media, trying to uncover all these clues. We had the Mephisto phase because everybody was gun-ho that we were going to see Mephisto in this series, but obviously we did not. That was a fun time with all the fan theories and everything, man. So it was a great start. So it was like, man, I cannot wait to see what we got next. And then right after that, we ended up getting Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that's where it gets me to my next point about Phase 4 in these Disney Plus shows and why I give them a thumbs in the middle when it comes to them. With shows in particular like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's not just some of these MCU shows on there. There's a Star Wars show on Disney Plus in particular that, when I say this, you're going to know where I'm going, could have been turned into a 2-hour plus movie, if you really think about it. Because if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier in particular, which I think is a very good show, I enjoyed it. But it was cut into 6 episodes, and it just seemed like they were just trying to turn an actual movie into a TV movie into separate episodes. And to me, it just didn't quite work out. Though I still enjoyed it, it just probably would have felt better as an actual movie as pertained. And that's why I brought up Star Wars, because the show that probably a lot of people agree with that should have been turned into a movie instead of a 6-episode TV series is the Obi-Wan show. So that's my thoughts, man. It's just some of these Disney Plus shows, they really just felt like movies cut into a TV series of 6 episodes. And then in the end, once you get to that last episode, episode 6, it feels like they're rushing to try to bring it all together at the end. And it kind of felt that way with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What else did it feel that way with? It felt that way with Loki. It definitely felt that way with MoonKnight. That series in particular, that show right there definitely felt like it was definitely rushed all the way towards the end of it. And that's the common thing I've noticed with these shows. They would start off hot with the first episode, and then it'll be brought down a level once you get to the later episodes, because you're intrigued with some of the story that's going on within these shows, but then once you get to the end, it just feels so rushed, and I didn't like that. So some of these Disney Plus shows could have been better serviced as an actual 2-hour movie in the theaters. Not WandaVision. That actually felt like an actual TV show and formatted like a TV show. The Disney Plus MCU movie shows felt like movies cut into an actual streaming TV series in 6 episodes. And that's another problem that I had with these Disney Plus shows. Why are these shows stuck at the format of only having 6 episodes? Why? That's something I did not get. That's not a TV series. It's just not. Because it feels like with some things, you're going to get some filler episodes, and then at the end, it just feels like everything's coming together so fast, and it just feels so rushed. And that's something I did not like. That was the big negative I had with Phase 4 of the MCU. Another problem that I had with the MCU, we can go back into the movies and the TV shows just as a whole. So we'll talk about them both. But, you know, the MCU, they were really experimenting a lot with these projects. And they have so much content out there as it is, it's stretching Kevin Feige very thin. So he doesn't have a close eye on every single project like he used to with the past phases. So he's being stretched thin because he's producing so much content and trying to get them out there. But with the MCU in this phase, they really tried to experiment and think that they were a comedy studio in a way. Like, that's really what it felt like. They were like doing a lot more humor in these projects, and it didn't necessarily feel natural and just organic within these movies and TV shows. It really felt like it's just a group of people sitting there writing a script together, trying to get people to say these lines that they think are funny, and then not just come out on the film like the characters are just naturally going back and forth with each other, and something naturally funny does tend to happen. And I got that from a fellow YouTuber. Shout out to Sean Chandler, because he was the one that brought up that analogy, and that's why I set it up here. And so that was my problem with it. It just too much humor. And that's why I really liked Black Panther Wakanda Forever, because it felt more natural, the humor in it. It didn't feel like they was just trying to get choke. It just felt natural, like the characters in these certain moments that they're talking, a funny moment does tend to happen. And that's what I liked. And in particular, the one film that I feel had that problem the worst, and this is crazy because I love this character, and I was really looking forward to this movie when it was coming out, and that's Thor: Love and Thunder. And it goes back to my previous point that I said about the Disney Plus shows and how those movies just felt so damn rushed. That movie right there, Thor: Love and Thunder, felt rushed as hell. And I don't get that. None of the previous MCU projects felt rushed like that movie did. Now, I don't want every single movie to be 2 hours and 30 minutes or even 2 hours and 20 minutes plus. Not every single one has to feel that way. But that movie in particular, That movie right there could have benefited from having an extended runtime for that film. It genuinely could, and I read stories that came out that somebody had mandated that the film stay within 2 hours. That's why you heard things like Jeff Goldblum's scene in the film got cut from the movie. And there was another scene in the film that got cut in the movie as well that it's not coming to my mind, but it was a lot of things cut out from the film, and you could tell, but somebody had mandated it. I know that for a fact that it wasn't Kevin Feige, because he'll let his creators be able to create in the end. And so obviously it's somebody above him that had mandated that, because obviously back then within the previous phases it was Bob Iger that was running all of Disney at the time, and now it's somebody different. And he changed up the executive boards and had different forms of leadership all throughout. So Kevin Feige does not necessarily have as much power as he once used to, because the levels of power have changed a little bit within the MCU. And so that's my problem, man. There was a lot. It just felt so rushed, in particular the Disney Plus shows. They were experimenting with a lot. They're trying to make themselves more of a comedic studio with their projects now. And I just miss that original tone and balance that they used to have with the humor and the serious elements and drama throughout their films that they previously had. It was a nice balance, but it became unbalanced and it became so much more comedy influenced all throughout. And another film that I noticed that with was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And there was some forced humor in the first Doctor Strange movie as well. Some funny, some fell flat. But in Multiverse of Madness, man, there was a lot of forced humor all throughout that I noticed throughout the film. And so those are my thoughts, man. But overall, I thought the Phase 4 as a whole, it was still really good to me. There was no project out of all of them that I outright hated. Though there is one that I particularly disliked, and it's a Disney Plus show. But overall, I had no problems with any of the films. I still sat there and was thoroughly entertained and enjoyed them all. But yeah, this is still the weakest phase of the 4 phases. And that's okay, man, because we saw this coming with the Marvel, man, because they just had hit. And they had so many hits, man. You know, there's always going to be a time where you're going to have a down period, and you're going to have to sit there and learn from that specific period. Now, their lowest rated reviewed film is The Eternals. It's got like a 40-something% or 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the thing is, I really enjoyed The Eternals. I really did. There are some plot holes within the film and some problems I had with it. But overall, I still thoroughly enjoyed it. But it was so very different and unique compared to what we usually normally see from the MCU in terms of film content. And I think it just rubbed some people off the wrong way. And all film is subjective, man. I get why some people didn't like the movie. I get it. I still enjoyed it for what it was. But, you know, this was a phase where I've heard and talked to a lot of people where they didn't particularly like some of the films that had came out in the shows. And there was some disappointing projects all throughout. But, man, it's going to be all right, man. We're all right. I think Kevin Feige, he going to figure it out, man. He gonna get it back right. Because we are in the Multiverse saga now. We went from Infinity Saga to now the Multiverse Saga. And we're going to see how it all turns out and it's brought together. And now another thing I do want to bring up about the MCU right now is that we knew within phases 1, 2, and 3 where we were going and where this is all leading to. But with this phase, you know, there was a lot of like grief and mourning and moving forward. There were some tonal elements like that. But the MCU right now, that I think unanimously across the community and the fan base, is that it definitely feels directionless right now, here, period, at this time. It just feels directionless. It's like there's been no clear indication of where everything is leading to and where we're going. Now, within our film slate and within the years moving forward, we know what movies are coming. But as far as a narrative and a direction, it's like we don't know where anything is going. Like, they haven't really shown us much of what this is all leading to and what we're moving forward and being able to grab. We know we got Secret Wars coming. We know we got Kang Dynasty coming. We know Kang is going to be one of the major big bads of the multiverse saga. He has a whole Avengers movie with his name within the title called the Kang Dynasty. Secret Wars. That's going to be something that's going to be something godly. I know that for sure. And I know some of us have been let down because there's been a lot of fan theories that we've had, in particular, Multiverse of Madness, that we had so many theories and ideas that we thought were going to come and happen within the film, and it just did not happen. It's not. And sometimes it feels like some of the fan theories at times are better than the actual stuff that we've been given within the narratives of these films. And so I'm very curious to see, moving forward and going into Phase 5, how everything is going to unfold and if we're going to know where everything is leading to. And I do feel that with the start of Phase 5, because we're starting Phase 5 in February with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, where that film is going to take place 90% in the quantum realm, and a Kang variant is going to be the villain in that movie. And I feel and I predict that's going to be the movie that's going to help explain and lead everything to where this is all going. That's going to be the movie that's going to sit there and tell us, like, okay, we're going here, and this is where the in Multiverse Saga is leading to. Because we got maybe little bits and pieces of how it's all going, because we were introduced to incursions in Multiverse of Madness that the Illuminati had in the film had introduced us to, of two universes colliding into each other. And then the end credit scene of Multiverse of Madness, we saw a character named Clea, played by Charlize Theron. She came up to Doctor Strange and said, "You caused an incursion, so you're going to help me fix it." So that's going to play a major part in the future of the MCU as well. And then with the Loki TV series, that's what kind of kicked everything into gear, in particular to this narrative of WandaVision, No Way Home, and Multiverse of Madness being this separate trilogy of films, this 3-part story, and what we are introduced to. And we are entering now a multiversal war with these universes colliding and the incursions happening. So I cannot wait to see how this unfolds. I have my full trust and faith into Kevin Feige into making this multiverse saga work out, because once you're entering multiverse storytelling, it can get a bit gimmicky, and you can introduce problems along the way as well. And the one problem I hope we don't see within this saga is just, oh, one character dies? Okay, we can go bring him back. Just go into a whole nother universe to come bring him into ours. Now he's back again, guys. We've seen a lot of fake deaths all throughout the MCU with these phases, and that was a little bit of a problem with that I had with the earlier phases. Is there was a lot of fake deaths all throughout. So I hope they don't enter that territory with this saga of the multiverse saga. Just, oh, a character dies, let's just grab him from another universe. The only one that I would that would honestly be okay with is if we somehow were able to get a variant of T'Challa back within the main MCU timeline. I'd be okay with that, because considering the circumstances that Chadwick Boseman passed, they wrote within the film of Black Panther Wakanda Forever that the king has passed away, T'Challa's gone within our Earth 616 universe. So that one right there, I can see that, and I wouldn't mind that at all if that happened. I wouldn't mind it at all. But overall, man, I want to talk about some positives of Phase 4, though. Because it sounded like I may have been a lot more negative. And because the truth, I just had to be honest, you know? I just had to. You know, I'm down for the Multiverse Saga. I'm completely down. You know, they sold me. They sold this fanboy in me on the Multiverse Saga just with Spider-Man No Way Home alone, and the fact that we saw all these past villains from previous films, whether that be the Toby franchise or the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man franchise, we saw all of those guys come back. And that brought out the inner child of me, man, because literally, Tobey Maguire was the elementary phase for me. Andrew Garfield was a mix of both middle school going into high school phase for me. And now Tom Holland currently is the senior year of high school. Well, literally, once Homecoming dropped, I graduated high school in 2017. So it was the exiting high school, entering the college phase for me. So this is all three different generations of Spider-Man that we saw all come into one movie. And I really love that, man. And that's why Spider-Man No Way Home is my favorite film of Phase 4. So Spider-Man No Way Home was my number one film of Phase 4. Then, at second place, now thinking back on it, which I'm going to go watch it for a third time soon, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It takes the second place spot of the second best film of the Phase 4 of the MCU. And in a very close third place, I'm going to go ahead and give that to Shang-Chi. Those three films were absolutely amazing to me. They were all amazing. And I loved every single bit of it because, like I said, there was not a lot of stuff that I outright loved. But the very few that I did, it was those three projects right there. And we can go into the Disney Plus shows of my ranking of the top three that I feel is that my number one show of Disney Plus is going to be WandaVision. I absolutely love that show. It kept me on my toes every week. I was staying up midnight to watch every single episode and closing off Twitter, coming back to Twitter just to talk about it with everybody. So WandaVision is number one. Number two for me, I keep going back and forth with this one. You know what? I'm going to go there. Number two best Disney Plus show for me is going to be Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel was a wonderful Disney Plus show. And even though it only had 6 episodes and it did feel rushed towards the end, it was still an amazing show. And I really enjoyed it. It was really about this family and this young girl. That's what I loved. That was the best part of that show was the family elements. And it was a beautiful story to see from start to finish. And I loved Iman Vellani as Ms. Marvel. She's one of us, basically. She's one of us, but just, more of a high-profile actress now, in which, some of us wish we could be in the same spot as her. But blessings to her, love to her. She was amazing in that role. And that's why I was able to connect with her and her character within this film. It's because when she see videos and read about her and how much of a fan of the MCU she really is. That's what makes us automatically connect with her and her character more in this show. And she was absolutely wonderful. And my third favorite series of the Disney Plus shows is Loki. Man, this show really made me love the Loki character even more. Although this series, there was some filler episodes throughout, particularly like 2 of them, they did feel a little bit filler. But once the show was hitting, in particular those first 2 episodes, and then the last 2, it really, well, no, not the last 2. I'll say the first 2, the 4th, and the season finale, those episodes just really hit the strongest for me. It really did, and we explored more about Loki and why he is the way he is. We've seen him grow, and we going on this journey with him, learning more about the TVA. We were introduced to Kang in that series, man. And overall, I absolutely loved Loki as well. So my top 3 Disney Plus shows is WandaVision, Ms. Marvel, and Loki. Those 3 were all great, man. They were all great. But, and I've been alluding to this, that there was one show in particular that I did not like on Disney Plus, and that was the Hawkeye series. The Hawkeye series really felt like Hawkeye was going on an adventure, having to deal with his issues of his past. And it was something that he should have dealt with within like a day or two. But they stretched it out into 6 episodes. And my biggest problem that I had with the show is that it had it had a lot of conflicting tones of what it was trying to go for in the show. It's like, are you trying to be a serious show, or are you trying to be a comedy? Or are you trying to be a comedy, family, somewhat Christmas show? And there was a lot to be explored, and they introduced us and had some secrets be revealed. Well, not necessarily be revealed within the series that we were introduced to. And it's like, bro, you introduced us to this, but you didn't really give us the payoff for it. And that goes back to what I'm saying. Like, this show just felt like very rushed and stretched out at the same time into something that it shouldn't really happen. I think, honestly, Hawkeye, and we've seen what the MCU is doing now on Disney Plus that they're trying to introduce with their special presentations. And they had great success from what I heard with Werewolf by Night. I still, for some reason, have not sat down and watched it from start to finish for whatever reason. I have not. And then I'm hearing great things about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special as well. And so I think they're having a lot more success with the special presentations and the way that they're formatted. So looking on it and how Hawkeye was, the Hawkeye series was set up, that show probably would have been better as a special presentation on Disney Plus, maybe. And that's just me. That's just my personal opinion, man. But overall, that was probably the weakest. My 2 biggest disappointing projects of the MCU, though, is easily Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, just because I've had so many thoughts, ideas, and theories to it, and I was hyping myself up, and I let my expectations get the best of me within the theater, because I had supremely high expectations for it, and I thought the movie was good. I really enjoyed it, but just I had a lot of problems with it. It's not as good as I thought I wanted it to be. And then Thor: Love and Thunder as well. Just a very much rushed film from start to finish. They made Thor a bit too goofy at times. And there are some people out there that absolutely love this movie. And kudos to you, because all film is subjective. So I'm not going to slander you or anything like that just because I didn't particularly like it as much as you did. But for me, the movie was just, it was a bit big of a disappointment, man. It felt more like it could have been a Thor TV series season finale. That's what it honestly felt like. It just felt so rushed. And I feel like Christian Bale was great as Gore the God Butcher, but they kind of dropped the ball with him. And there was too many like serious elements that Marvel has done in the past, but they have cut back on, but they did it back again in this movie, is that there would be a serious moment within the film, but they would ruin that serious moment by introducing a joke. And that was my main gripe with the film, because Thor Ragnarok was so fucking good, and it had a bit of a balance of that serious drama, because Thor Ragnarok is a lot darker of a film than you really know, because it has a lot of comedy elements to it, but that movie was pretty dark. Whether you're dealing with the loss of the All-Father Odin, you got Hela coming in. She basically kills the Warriors 3, which Taika Waititi just said, fuck you to the Warriors 3 in that movie, because they played pretty decent parts in the first 2 Thor movies. They get killed off. A lot of the Asgardians get killed off as well. You see the destruction of Asgard. Asgard's destroyed, man. And it had that nice balance and tone to it. But this film, it went absolutely goofy from start to finish, man. And it was even though I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a bit of a disappointment for me. It really was. But man, there are things that I feel that they can fix. And these are just my personal opinions in regards to Phase 5 and moving forward. Because we got things like, what's the next film? We got Quantumania coming. We got Daredevil coming back. My boy Daredevil is coming back. And that one's not going to be 6 episodes. We're getting 18 episodes of that series. I'm excited for that, man. And I hope with that series, that's going to go back into my first point of what I think that needs to be fixed in the phase of the MCU. Bring back that balanced tone of the serious drama and the comedy elements. And with Daredevil in particular, we've all seen the Netflix Daredevil show, and we all love it. Absolutely phenomenal series. And I hope they somewhat go that direction, somewhat, of that series. I know it's on Disney Plus. I know you got the kids on there. It's within the MCU property now. Officially, it's MCU canon. So they're not going to go as hard, and they don't necessarily need to, because if you go back and watch that Netflix Daredevil show, if you just cut back on some of the F-bombs and limit a tiny bit of the blood and don't have scenes where you actively show when Kingpin just literally breaks a dude's face off with a car door, you cut back on a little bit of that. That series is just a pure TV 14 show as opposed to TV mature. So you do that, you got a winner on your hands. And so I hopefully, once we get introduced to shows like that, we got the Thunderbolts coming, that we get that nice balanced tone of the serious drama with the comedy elements as well. Just balance it out. You can do some a major comedy on some projects. In particular, Deadpool 3. That, I don't mind. You let Deadpool do whatever the fuck he wants to do, because we got Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine in this movie. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I'm excited to see that, because especially we're in the multiverse saga, and Deadpool's coming from that Fox X-Men side. So, within that, within his character, I think he's going to play a major role within this multiverse saga, because he's not just going to instantly be in the MCU world from the jump. I think he's going to be coming from that world that he's in, of that Fox property, and coming into the main MCU timeline, because with the way Deadpool 2 ended, he was able to fix that time machine that Cable had, and so he was jumping all over the place doing whatever the hell he wanted to do. So that's why I think he's going to play a major role within the multiverse saga as well. So you can do the comedy elements with that. And, I think, too, with his film, hopefully, and Quantumania, onto my next point, give us a clear direction and indication of where we're going with Phase 4 of the MCU, with Phase 5, I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. Give us a clear direction of where this multiverse saga is going with these next films. Please, I beg of you, Marvel, just give us that so we know what to expect and what we're going into. You can surprise us and everything, but we just give us that focus and the direction of where everything is going to be intertwined and connected unto one another. And I think that it's going to be Quantumania, Loki Season 2, and Deadpool 3 are going to be the key films within this multiverse saga, bringing about what this multiversal story is all going to be. And I predict those 3 shows are going to be the ones to do that for us. Also, my last point, man, this is just a nitpick from me, and I know others agree. Can we get rid of the 6-episode format with Disney Plus? Can we please? I heard Secret Invasion is going to be 6 episodes, but I've heard things that show is going to be fantastic. And I cannot wait to see it. But can we please get rid of the 6-episode format? I don't want every single show to sit there and be 18 episodes like the Daredevil series is going to be. I don't need that. But can we at least get 8 and it actually feel like a TV series, and make the shows as a TV series as opposed to making them like a movie and then cutting them into 6 episodes as a TV series? Like, just go about these shows as a TV series. And Eric Kripke of The Boys the reason why I said this, Eric Kripke, the showrunner for The Boys, he was the one that said something that had me thinking this way. He said, like, bruh, sometimes they're trying to sit there and make these movies into TV shows. He didn't name drop Marvel, but obviously that's who he was alluding to. He said, I don't know the exact way, he was like, bruh, you're sitting there trying to make a movie and then turn it into a TV show. Fuck that. Make a straight TV show. From start to finish, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and at the least 8. Give us just at least 8 episodes. Give us 10. Just give us a full, satisfying story that does not have to feel like you're rushing to bring it all together towards the end of the series. And that's why I want out with the 6-episode format, man. I want it out. Just please. And also, no more trying to sit there and just be a comedy studio, man. No more. And that was the thing with She-Hulk, man. She-Hulk, they really just went full out comedy with that show. They really did. But the problem with She-Hulk is that it just wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. There were some funny moments all throughout, no doubt. And Tatiana Maslany, she absolutely carried that show on her back to make it be a positive for me and making me enjoy the show for what it is. And it making it a positive for me. So, overall, those are just my thoughts and opinions on the direction of the MCU and how I feel they should go about it moving forward, in my opinions, on Phase 4. I cannot wait for Phase 5. I cannot wait for Phase 6. When we finally get the Fantastic Four. We get Doom. We get Deadpool. We get Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty capping it all off. I cannot wait to see it because then we're not too far away from mutants, y'all. We're not far away from the mutants at all. And I cannot wait to see it, man. And I know the MCU, they're going to learn from this phase and they're going to pick it up. I definitely think they're going to pick it up and learn from it. But man, overall, you guys, this is a great discussion. I love talking about this with you guys today. Thank you so much for being here with me today, talking about the MCU Phase 4. Please go ahead and like the video for me, as that very much helps. Go ahead and click the subscribe button down below as well. And I cannot wait to be dropping more content for you guys. For my pro wrestling fans, I might be doing a Full Gear review for you all, as AEW Full Gear is tomorrow. We got a lot more stuff coming out, but more film reviews are on the way as well. And man, I hope you all enjoy the rest of y'all days. And yeah, I'll see y'all later.